iTCA Malware Analysis Complete Beginner's Guide course. Welcome back to our iTCA Malware Analysis Complete Beginner's Guide course. You're now in Module 2, Types of Malware, How to Identify Them, and How to Get Rid of Them. By the end of this module, you will be able to identify the main types of malware and understand their unique behaviors. Recognize symptoms and warning signs of malware infections on computers and networks. Understand how malware spreads, including examples of multi-step attacks. Apply effective strategies to remove malware and prevent reinfection. We'll go step by step with illustrative examples so you can see how malware works in real life. Types of malware. Malware comes in different forms. Each type has its own way of infecting systems, hiding from detection, and causing damage. Let's go through the main types with practical examples to make it easier to recognize them. Let's start by looking at viruses, one of the oldest and most well-known types of malware. A virus is a type of malware that attaches itself to legitimate files or programs. Think of it like a parasite. It needs a host to survive and spread. Here's how it usually operates. First, it infects a host file. For example, it could be a Word document. Next, the moment you open that file, the virus activates. From there, it replicates, jumping to other files or even spreading across systems, looking for its next victim. So, how do you know if your system might be infected? Some common symptoms include files suddenly becoming corrupted or unreadable, programs crashing repeatedly, especially when you try to open specific files, strange error messages popping up out of nowhere like, program cannot start because XDLL is missing. Here's a simple example. Imagine you get an email with a Word document attached. You open it and suddenly Word crashes. What you don't realize is that the virus has silently copied itself into other documents on your computer. Before long, it could be everywhere. The good news? Prevention is possible. Keep your antivirus software updated, avoid downloading files from sources you don't trust, and always install software patches and updates. These simple steps can stop many viruses before they cause harm. Let's move on to worms, a different kind of malware with a scary ability. Unlike viruses, worms don't need human help to spread. They're standalone malware that exploit vulnerabilities in operating systems or applications, then self-replicate automatically across networks. Some common signs include sudden network slowdowns, unexplained connectivity issues, or multiple unauthorized files popping up on shared network drives. One famous example is the Conficker worm, which spread to millions of computers by exploiting Windows vulnerabilities, crippling corporate networks around the world. To protect yourself, patch your systems regularly, use firewalls, and be cautious about clicking on suspicious links. Next up, Trojans, malware masters of disguise. Trojans look like legitimate software, tricking you into installing them. Once inside, they open backdoors, steal sensitive data, or download additional malware. How do you know something might be wrong? Watch out for unknown programs appearing on your system, unexpected connections to remote servers, or your computer behaving strangely without you doing anything. A classic example is a fake antivirus alert prompting you to install a cleaning tool that's actually a Trojan stealing your data in the background. Prevention is simple. Download software only from trusted sources, verify digital signatures, and always run real-time antivirus scans. Now, let's talk about ransomware, the digital hostage taker. Ransomware encrypts your files and demands payment for the decryption key. It often sneaks in through phishing emails or Trojans, then locks your data with strange extensions like .locked or .crypt before flashing a ransom note demanding money. A real-world case? WannaCry in 2017 hit hospitals worldwide, encrypting critical medical records and paralyzing healthcare services until ransoms were paid. Prevent ransomware attacks with regular offline backups, strong endpoint security, and by avoiding suspicious links or downloads. Spyware is the silent stalker of the malware world. It secretly monitors your activities, capturing passwords, browsing habits, and sometimes even keystrokes, all without you noticing. You might see symptoms like slow internet browsing, unknown browser toolbars, or your homepage changing without your consent. Sometimes sensitive information like bank details even leaks out. For example, spyware can quietly log your credit card number while you shop online. To prevent it, use anti-spyware tools, avoid sketchy websites, and regularly check installed programs. Now let's look at adware, malware with an annoying twist. Adware bombards you with unwanted ads, often bundled with legitimate-looking software. It tracks your browsing behavior to inject targeted ads everywhere, even when your browser isn't open. Symptoms include frequent pop-ups, unwanted browser extensions, or random redirects to unknown websites. Installing free software from unofficial sources often opens the door to adware, turning your screen into a billboard. Stay safe by avoiding pirated software, using ad blockers, and keeping your security tools updated. Next, we have rootkits, malware that hides in the deepest layers of your operating system. Rootkits modify system processes or even the OS kernel itself, giving attackers long-term, hidden access to your device. Symptoms can be tricky to spot. Antivirus software might miss threats entirely, hidden processes stay active even after cleanup attempts, and your system may behave abnormally. Some rootkits hide backdoors so attackers can silently control your computer for weeks or even months. Prevent rootkit infections by updating your OS, using integrity monitoring tools, and reinstalling the OS if necessary. Moving on to botnets, armies of infected computers under one hacker's command. Each infected device or bot listens to a central server for instructions. Hackers then use them for DDoS attacks, spamming, or stealing data, all without the owners knowing. Symptoms include your device suddenly sending large amounts of outbound traffic, spam emails coming from your account, or suspicious programs running silently in the background. A famous case is the Mirai botnet, which hijacked IoT devices like cameras and routers to launch one of the largest DDoS attacks in history. Prevent botnet infections by updating your devices, using firewalls, and monitoring network traffic for suspicious activity. Now let's talk about keyloggers, malware designed to spy on your keystrokes. Once installed, keyloggers silently record everything you type: passwords, credit card numbers, personal messages, you name it. Signs of infection include unauthorized account access, compromised credentials, or unexpected data being sent from your system. For example, a keylogger installed on a public computer could capture your banking password the moment you type it. Prevent this by using two-factor authentication, running anti-keylogger antivirus tools, and avoiding sensitive logins on public computers. Finally, fileless malware, one of the trickiest to detect. It operates entirely in your system's memory without leaving traditional file traces, making it invisible to many antivirus tools. It often uses legitimate tools like PowerShell to execute its malicious code. Symptoms include abnormal system behavior, suspicious scripting activity, or strange processes running without explanation, yet nothing obvious on your disk. Prevent fileless malware attacks by limiting user privileges, monitoring system behavior, and using advanced behavior-based endpoint protection tools. Mini exercise. If you open a file and suddenly multiple Word documents crash and corrupt themselves, which malware is most likely responsible? Drop your answer in the comments below. General symptoms of malware infection. Malware doesn't always announce its presence, but if you know what to look for, you can spot the warning signs early. Let's break them down step by step. First, watch out for system slowness. If programs take forever to open or your computer keeps freezing, something might be wrong. For example, imagine opening a simple Word document, and it lags so much that you can't get any work done. That's often a red flag. Second, keep an eye on unexpected pop-ups. If random ads or warnings start appearing when you haven't even opened a browser, it's not just annoying. It could be malware trying to trick you into clicking something dangerous. Third, check your network activity. If your internet seems unusually busy even when you're not using it, malware might be silently sending or receiving data. For instance, your router logs might show strange spikes in traffic at odd hours. Fourth, notice any unauthorized access or changes to your files. If photos disappear, documents get edited, or files move without your input, that's a clear sign something isn't right. Fifth, pay attention to your antivirus alerts. If your security software suddenly stops updating or turns off by itself, malware might be trying to disable your defenses so it can spread freely. And finally, watch your system resources. If CPU or memory usage shoots up for no reason, with unknown processes hogging 70 or 80% of your system, that's suspicious behavior worth investigating. The key here is simple. The earlier you recognize these symptoms, the faster you can act, and the less damage malware can do. You don't need to be a hacker or a cybersecurity expert to start spotting malware early. There are a few simple actions anyone can take to stay one step ahead. First, monitor your system performance and network activity regularly. If your computer suddenly slows down or your internet traffic spikes when you're not doing much, it might be a sign something's wrong. Second, watch out for unexpected pop-ups or programs appearing on your system. If new apps or windows show up without you installing them, be cautious. That's a red flag. Third, check for unknown processes running in the background. Open your Task Manager or Activity Monitor and look for anything suspicious consuming your resources. And finally, always pay attention to your security software alerts. If your antivirus stops updating or gets disabled without your action, that could be malware trying to cover its tracks. The key idea here is simple. Early detection is the first step toward containing threats and moving toward professional malware analysis. Manual malware removal is possible, but it can be risky if you don't follow the right steps carefully. Here's a safe, step-by-step approach you can use. Step 1. Boot into safe mode. This stops most malware from automatically starting when your system powers on. Step 2. Identify and end malicious processes. Use Task Manager or your System Monitor to look for unfamiliar or suspicious processes running in the background. Step 3. Delete malicious files and folders. Be careful here. Removing the wrong files can cause system errors, so double-check before deleting anything. Step 4. Clean the Windows registry if needed. Many types of malware add entries here to ensure they start every time your computer boots. Always back up your registry before making changes, because one wrong move can damage your system. Step 5. Check your startup programs. Disable any unknown programs so they won't relaunch after a restart. For example, if a Trojan installed something like update.exe in your startup folder, disabling and deleting it stops it from coming back. Now, while manual removal works, automated tools make things much easier and reduce the risk of human error. Antivirus software like Norton or Kaspersky can detect and remove known threats. Anti-malware tools such as Malwarebytes or Hitman Pro specialize in spyware, rootkits, and adware. System cleaners like CCleaner help clear temporary files and suspicious entries, and even online scanners from security vendors can quickly check your system for problems. The key is to keep all these tools updated to catch the latest threats. Beyond removal, there are best practices for full malware eradication. Disconnect from the internet to prevent malware from spreading or communicating with its servers. Backup important files offline or on external drives. Run full system scans using more than one security tool if necessary. Apply security updates and patches promptly. Change all passwords used on the infected system to avoid account compromise. Finally, prevention beats cure every single time. A proactive malware defense strategy includes regular offline backups, user awareness training to prevent phishing or unsafe downloads, robust network security like firewalls and intrusion detection systems, endpoint protection with behavior-based detection tools, and continuous monitoring and logging to detect abnormal activity early. The more layers of defense you have, the harder it becomes for malware to succeed. Before we end, here's the big takeaway. Understanding how malware works, how to detect it, and how to respond effectively is your first line of defense in cybersecurity. If you found this helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next lesson, where we'll dive into malware analysis proper, breaking down real-world attacks step by step. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one.